Hello everyone and welcome to the stream. This is Otaku Showboat. Today is Sunday, June 2nd, 2019. Today is a return to Pyanodon's mods. So, today also happens to be the first day that I'm streaming on a Sunday as part of my new streaming schedule extension, whatever you want to call it. Uh-oh. Oh, right. So there's like the game loading hitches the system briefly while it's loading. Let's see, any other... Oh, hello. I don't need to do those right now. Maybe even distribution, are you required? Are you required? Oh, no, you're not required. Yeah, so even distributions is fine. Angels, yeah, Angels has done a lot of updates. So, hi Pyanodon! You actually get to watch me play your mods today. Yes, you actually get to do so. I need to actually figure out what I'm going to do today. Oh, I remember now. I won't update Angels when I'm going to be playing yours. That's what I was trying to say. Is since I'm playing yours and I'm not running those mods that need updates, I won't update them. I always update your mods. I noticed you've been slowly updating the changelogs so that they're actually viewable on the mod pages and in the game. So thanks for that. That's much appreciated. Something about Pi Industries and mining time was the most recent one that I noticed. Anyway, I have to run this power going all the way up, because I was going to start processing tar. That's what I was going to do. I went through all the trouble coming down here last time. This quite long walk. Definitely going to need more pipes to get up to the top. Anyway, I think today is just going to be a lot of scaling up of what I already have rather than doing any or much of adding to new things. So, what did I do last time? Last time I sort of just like moved a lot of stuff and I added this turn on the main bus to go northwards and then just stuck like chromium processing and all of the things for green science are all up here, this big line of stuff. And another thing I've noticed or have really been thinking about is I sort of need to move a lot of these other intermediates. Like, I need to get them their own spots. Several players not final. I have a lot of tar on this map, actually. I have a lot of tar. I have a tar combined yield 1317 down here, and then I have tar pits up over here. Right here, I have another almost 200% up here as well. So there's two patches of tar close by. Yeah, this map ended up, I think, with a very good set of resources, close by resources. Specifically, I am very happy for all of the coal on the way, and you can see I turned my bus just so I could get this closer chromium. I actually need to go up and kill this, because I don't need that right now. There's also a lot of crude oil that's around. Lots of oil around. Quite a few big rocks. Plenty of salt. Yeah, the resource distribution on this map has been handy, to say the least. And having the extra iron. The iron is the main thing I need a lot more of. Yes, balanced. Thank you to Resource Spawner Overhaul for actually giving something somewhat balanced. So, I need to go grab more undergrounds, because I'm pretty sure 59 is not going to be enough. But I'll have plenty of tar to produce aromatics and creosote and power. Until I run out of tar, and then, in which case, uh-oh. Because tar acts as a liquid, so it should be following the liquid mechanics, so over time that percentage will go down. Oh, hello, tech. Oh boy, I can... Wow, 3 recipes for batteries? Alright. Oh yeah, since you're here, Pyanodon, I should make... Ah, good, you did fix this. You fixed it! Excellent. So yeah, I had mentioned that this engine unit recipe shouldn't be handcrafted, but good, you fixed it. That thought just crossed my mind. It's like, did he fix that yet? Yes, it looks like it has been. Gosh, there's, wow, you can get nickel ore straight from tar. That'd be great if I didn't have access to nickel. Is there, or are there nickel patches? Maybe. Probably not. Don't think I need it at the moment. Wow, plenty of zinc, aluminium. Oh, there's nickel. Nickel ore, right down here. 6 mil. 6.6 mil patch of nickel right nearby. Speaking of which, I have green science now. That means, that should mean that railroads are on the agenda. Alright, let's get all the way back down to run this tar up. Oh, isn't this yeah, I also have a nickel rock nearby. But being able to actually excavate those rocks seems like it'll take a long time. Seems like that tech is very, very high in the tree to get to those machines. Alright, let's get to this tar. I want this tar, I want the power it can provide me, as well as the aromatics. I'm looking forward to having a ton of rubber pretty soon, thanks to tar as well. Now, I just want to make sure that, yes, these are not that one. Okay, so I missed one. This is why we check things before running too far away from the stuff. Also, I'm pretty sure I'm making power poles. Just have to go and grab more of those. Gosh, and now that I have the green science going, I should probably think about automating some machines at some point. That would be handy. Start developing a machine mall area. I don't know. I don't tend to make dedicated mall areas per se, not with belts anyway. And especially with the amount of raw materials that are required for the machines here. That seems like it would be a terrible idea, actually. And do this way. Alright, so which lane is my tar? That's the question of the day. Which lane is tar? This is why I have... Alright, so this is tar. That marks it out for me. Yeah, mall won't really work with so many items required. That is definitely true. It would work with robots, I think. Or at least be more manageable with robots. Fortunately, the way I've been building my base thus far, with purpose, is I can actually do this scaling of stuff that I'm about to do. And start running intermediates onto the bus, because I've noticed, even as far back as the red science, like, I need to redo this red science so that it can scale. And that might involve eliminating this, doing a different area for the engines. And I'm probably going to start using the automated factories for some of this. Or I can just, move the whole science setup up closer to the green science and just have it all up there. I don't know, because this stuff gets used in other recipes. For the flasks are a 1-to-1 in this red science, but the Falge substrate is not a 1-to-1, and it gets used in other recipes later on down the line. And similarly with most every single component in the Circuit 1 production, most everything gets used in the Circuit 2s. And other things later on. So that should be the extra tar hooked up. Which means this stuff should not be lacking. And I can start building more of the tar processing units. Just going to build all of them for now. Grab some stones. And start working my way backwards. Because all bottlenecks begin with a lack of resources at the start of your chain. And if I look at the start of my bus, I see, what am I lacking? Well, I'm not lacking for iron right now, or steel, or even small parts. I am lacking these guys, tin, and glass, and oddly enough, coke. Coke is really lacking up until here. Guess it's just backfilling, but what is limiting here? Yes, coke is really easy enough to make, especially now that I am at Green Science Techs and will be able to actually start processing the red hot coke. Because the red hot coke can be made into coke, requires the quenching tower, which you can only get at coal processing 2, which is the green science. So that's one little slight pain, is you unlock the red hot coke at whatever coke processing 1, or whatever. I think it's coke processing 1, but you can't actually fully process the red hot coke. Like, you can make red hot coke, but then you can't make it into coke until you get coal processing 2, which is green science. So yeah, it's just a little slightly weird. You can make something you can't do anything with until you get the later tech. So you are empty. I am also starting to get no more quartz. Oh, I remember now. I was working towards the logistic bot tech, but I should pick up work towards coal processing too. Automation 2. Guess that's where we'll start. Let's see, this is the tin. I'm limited by tin, so that's just a matter of getting more of these. I think instead of making more advanced foundries, what I will start doing is transitioning my iron into the liquid iron casting. Now, that means I would need to get casting units. Just need to pick up engines and wood for that. Iron. Molten iron. Resulting... Oop. Molten iron resulting from borax, which I now have borax. I have processed iron ore, and I have oxygen, so... And this is all in a basic oxygen furnace. So these guys that I can currently make. I'm just gonna grab iron and What's likely going to need a lot of copper. Grab wood. And go down to my engines that I've been stockpiling and grab some of those too. Yeah, I am very limited on the science progression due to glass that I also have to work on. But such is today's... Hello? Such is today's theme. I can actually get salt. Don't really have a current use that I'm working on for it. I'm just going to assume that I will cast molten iron in a casting machine, which is not quite the same footprint, I should say, as those. This is going to be a little bit odd. Oh, I will need sand castings in this. I would also think I need to work towards... I need the tech to get to molten copper so that I could also get to the tech for making duralumin from molten aluminium and copper. That being said, this recipe using the molten iron is more efficient than this recipe of hot air processing of the processed iron ore, but it's not a huge difference. It's not a night and day, but it is better. So sand castings. This will require... Hello, creosote! Good thing I'm now making creosote. And I just made a bunch of tar processing units. So that's fine. And then I need sand, and sand is from... So you can just wash soil and water to get sand and tailings. Or you can process gravel into sand. Gravel is straight from stone, possibly. So a few ways to get sand. Sand from soil, plus other stuff that I would have to deal with. I think this would be the recipe I want in a washer to get the sand. Alternatively, excavation 1 will have sand extractors. That's handy. This is a green science tech. And I have everything I need to make the, I don't have niobium for the sand extractor. So I would need to do that. That's a good, transition. That's a decent enough transition. So, for now, it's washers, which are here. I need pipes. I could either handcraft the pipes or just go grab more from where I'm making them. Fortunately, I have plenty of these things, by the way. Doink, doink, doink. Just increase the storage space for me, although I'm not using it here. Give me half of those. Niobium is a big chain. I'm sure it is. I am sure it is. Now, give me these so that I can make... Oh, I can make all of the inserters here. Let's clean up some inventory space by making those, and then making additional washers. I would also need a soil extractor or two. Now this is just water and soil into a washer to make the sand that will then be turned into sand castings in a tar processing unit. Just needs creosote, so I don't by necessity need to do this on the bus itself. I should be doing it in my primary tar processing area. These don't need to exist. These are empty. Those undergrounds don't need to exist. Nor do those. Hello, tech. Lab research speed might be handy if I had enough glass. Fluid handling, I think is next along the line to get down to here. All of this copper is gone, so I'm basically mined out there. Just like a couple squares with a little more copper. I am backed up on this. Is it because of stone? It is because of stone. Which means I'm not processing the stone bricks. So many things I have to be dealing with. So many bottlenecks in all of this that I need to fix. No, I don't want to limit. In fact, what I want to do is I'm going to stick these down so that you can store even more. Paint the world. Specifically, paint all this awful desert tile. Because while I did get plenty of resources nearby, I also happened to get a ton of desert tile where I'm working. And that slows down the movement. Now, one thing I could do is, instead of doing the hot air from hot stone bricks, I could just consume the stone bricks and use that as a way to get the rocks continuously moving. Just thinking a little bit. So, I will also probably do this on a new pump. Oh look, I'm starting to need advanced small parts. That's lovely. Right, that's empty. Going to want more mining drills going forward. Where is the nearest large aluminium? Right here. There's some aluminium right near where I have my copper. Which might need to move those miners soon. How about... There's a quartz. Is there a bigger quartz? Due to the size of those crystal extractor machines, I'm looking more towards size of patch rather than density. Alright, so there's a 2.1, a 1.4, so there's quartz. Speaking of niobium, there's a 16 mil patch right out there. An 18 mil quartz right there. Right near some tin, oil sand, molybdenum, borax, and chromium, and niobium, and copper, and a tiny itty bitty coal patch down there. Oh, and stone. That's right, I'm not really mining too much stone, am I? And yet I have so much of it. Yeah, so these don't even really need to exist anymore because I'm just mining all of this stone. I'm actually going to set this up a little differently so that I'm covering this patch. Just grabbing the rest of it. It seems a lot of my stone is just coming from the iron processing. In fact, what I should do is say input priority right. That's output priority, input priority right. So that I prioritize this going up rather than this stuff. Now then. Sand castings. I need soil extractors. How's the power looking? Just fine for now. Where exactly am I going to do this? Probably in this area down here. Just plop that down, plop, soil extractor down right about there. Probably you'd want a couple of them. Then I am washing for sand. This uses 7.5 per second. That's 7.2. Give me another soil extractor. I'm just not going to... I'm not going to have this exact spacing, but for now, like, for instance, I have to move these guys at least one tile back so that I am... I'm actually going to do this there. Lots of washers. That's 5. Making 18 per second. Needs a red belt. Alright, maybe I should only do 4. 4 is 18 per second. That's 15 per second. Oh no, that's 5. What am I thinking? 14.4. 2 would be 15. I'd rather use all of it. And then a single sinkhole. Should be plenty. Just gotta hook the things up. Oh, I said something about not having this exact spacing. Alright, I'm moving this over just so that because there's almost no way I would feel comfortable with direct insertion here. I could do it, though. You know what? I'm gonna do it. Screw it. I'm gonna do direct insertion. It's not a perfect ratio, but I'll do it like... Probably want a gap of 2. No, 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 not like that. Like that. This simplifies things in that I only really need the one line on the water, for one. By having a gap of 2, I can make certain that I have enough inserter throughput by forcing myself to use the long-handed inserters. That is how those will be. reminds me, I need to go grab some more power poles. One of the relatively few things that I'm actually automating the production of right now. Rayon batteries, huh? Just gonna make a few radars, because I'm pretty sure the area down here is not covered currently. Nor are some of my outposts. I should really get radars up on the outposts. Okay, then it's all about connecting up the tailings to kill the tailings. I'm realizing that this is not a good gap, which means I will need to move these at least one more out. Oh, tech desulfurization. Give me that. There's the tailings currently taken care of. Then it's just a matter of getting the sand out. Now I have 2 of these. Sand is going into tar processing units, if I'm not mistaken. Sand plus creosote. You need 5 per second on the sand. This is making 5 per second between these two, so I can feed in exactly that much, and it's only 20 units of creosote per. So that works just fine. Allow me to get my belts going here. Now the belts... The belt is likely just... No, it's going to be out here. Of course it'll loop around like so and come down to feed into the machine. I could be using loaders, actually. But sometimes loaders just feel like cheating. Sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. Let's see. Yeah. You and you. There's my sand, and then tar processing unit. Notice how I said something about, like, I'm going to take care of my resource deficiencies today and not focus on adding things that are new. Here I am adding something that's new in order to take care of my resource deficiencies. Creosote in, probably here. And let's start making an excess of creosote. Only gonna get worse doing the molten metal versions for some of the ores is complex. Yeah, I mean, I know it gets a lot more complex, but just getting to the initial non-zero amount of molten ores of specifically iron at the moment is what I'm trying to do, and it does appear as if these sand castings and borax is used for most of the important stuff. Yeah, iron isn't so bad, but I know it gets more complex when it gets into things like titanium and all of the other rarer metals. Coal processing a 2. Aluminium is the first one, that's a pain. Well, actually... Aluminium... Molten. Why? Because it comes from... powdered? I mean, I'm sure the later ones are a lot... like, heavy oil. Yeah. Like, the later versions, I'm sure, are bad, but... Let's see, powdered... the one with... pulp. The one with pulp. Pulp 2 right here. This second. Yeah, from processing 2. Because the pulp comes from steam in pulp 1, which comes from lime powdered and phosphoric acid. I mean, the powdered is just the ore in a ball mill, and then the phosphoric would be the one that would be difficult, but since this is locked behind basic electronics, I think you need phosphoric anyway. If this is locked behind basic electronics, you're going to be doing phosphoric acid regardless. Yeah, you need it to circuit too. So I wouldn't complain about the aluminium using extra phosphoric acid when you need it to make circuit 2s as well. I mean, this just seems like a normal prerequisite and not something you have to do specifically for that given chain. Which, let's see, this comes from a couple of options. You actually have a recipe for phosphine gas that gives you phosphoric acid. From phosphoric acid, okay. So phosphine, this is just that recipe. So it looks like the main method is bone meal, collagen, and sulfuric acid in a bioreactor. Oh, you get some from hydrogen chloride. Or, no, you make hydrogen chloride from some phosphine, but... Let's see, and then this recipe behind basic electronics. Which all of these are behind basic electronics. This bioreactor, though, is behind nanotech. So that's not one you can do at the moment. Phosphine from... this recipe for phosphine in a destructive distillation column at basic electronics from wood. Phosphorus acid. Okay, phosphorus acid from ash, pure sand, powdered phosphate rock, and syngas. Okay, well, syngas you're already making. Powdered phosphate rock is the new thing, but the starting area includes things to get the phosphate, so I'm already have an idea about that. We can make pure sand, and we are making ash. Like, I am currently storing ash that I can use for this. The only things that are new would be pure sand, which I've already shown how to make sand. Pure sand is just an extra step of continuing to wash sand. So that one's easy. The powdered phosphate is jaw-crushing phosphate rock, which you get from ancient remains. I don't see anything particularly difficult about that chain. That seems rather logical to me, that chain. That works. I mean, it's several steps. It's a simple chain, but it's just several steps. That's where the, I guess, tedium comes in. Well, yes, it adds up because it's a lot of machines that you need a lot of materials for to make, but such has been the theme this whole time. Such has been the theme, you're going to need a lot of really expensive machines. Alright, now to actually continue this, I was going to be running the creosote, and I was going to be adding to the creosote before going into all of that for the aluminium, liquid aluminium 2, second recipe for Molten, which I'm sure is more efficient than the first recipe for Molten. Alright, more creosote, please. So do I have a gap of 1? I do have a gap of 1, but it's not necessary, and I have these pipes blocking me. Good thing I'm mining tar. Okay, it's back. The stream briefly went down. But, yeah, so it should be back. Now, it's... My internet over the past several days has been ever so briefly cutting out, I think. I say I think, just because it appears to be some intermittent, like, blips. I don't know why, it could just be a sign of modem death, but I'm uncertain at this point. Anyway, just added some more creosote production. A couple more. So I have 5 of these now. Running at max, 133. Alright, that one should be somewhat okay if it's running constantly. I'll work on even more of that as we go. But I want to hook up this creosote so I can make my sand castings. Also, I can hide that UI element. This area is getting a little bit busy on the pipes. What molten recipe am I doing? At the moment, iron, so that I can free up all of these machines for use with, like, glass. Actually, perhaps I should look at this first. So, which glass? Well, for now it could add more of the hot air one, but let's see. I might want to switch to... I might want to switch to this one with the powdered. That's a ball mill, that gives gravel. Yeah, so I'll probably do that one for the glass next, but I need to free up some of these machines so I can, like, add onto, at least temporarily, things like the tin line, so I could use more here before I start working on getting that upgraded. Pretty sure at some point you don't even need these machines anymore for much. So just starting to work on this transition into Molten and other more advanced, more efficient processes. Anyway, creosote needs to come down. I'm just thinking about how I'm going to spaghetti these pipes down. Alright, that should be fine. And that is that connected. So this should be moving, making 2 per second. Alright, that is that one. Just gonna run that mostly straight up. Let's see, do I have any other phosphate rocks? I do. I have a... Speaking of having really convenient resources right near my base, I have a whole bunch of phosphate rocks sitting right here. just outside of my radar range. So I don't need to worry about these at all. Let's see, borax is next. I suppose I should do at least a little bit of math to see... Oh, this is now empty. Yeah, I'm going to need to rearrange things a bit. Borax is here. Borax, which was necessary in making the green science, which is why this is a very convenient time to do this transition. All small quantities. Yeah, borax is used for everything, pretty much. What even is this belt? Oh, right, I can bring these back. Sand waffles, yes. That is sort of what those castings look like. But that's why I built this like this, so it can just sort of expand this way. Granted, I am somewhat limited because, hey, my bus is built to expand down, and yet this is all built to expand that way and that way. Probably backwards would be the way to go on that expansion, because I do get blocked ultimately by the turn in my bus. So I should not be expanding to the right, I should be expanding to the left, but anyway. Regardless, it is now time for... actually doing this. Let's see, so it was basic oxygen furnace. Let's have a look at the quantities of stuffs. So basic oxygen furnace making molten iron makes... Let's see, so this needs... 0.63, 7.5 of the oxygen. Oh yeah, that's the other thing I have to bring down, is the oxygen. And 0.38 of that makes 1.25. What does a casting machine... Oh yes, and fuel. And fuel, so... Well, fuel is easy enough, because, hello. Hello, fuel. You're right here. So that's 3 inputs. Technically. And a liquid out. Into casting machine. Yep, sand castings. Sand castings, sand castings. So this also consumes 0.38 on the stuff's 12.5 per second. 12.5 per second on the molten. Seriously? Alright. But this makes 7.5. That's a ton. 7.5 per second by itself on the iron plates when... Let's see, how many of these do I have? 18. I have 18, making 9. So 18 making 9, using 9 processed iron per second. Now, I know that this transition is a very small upgrade in terms of efficiency. It's they're pretty close. I think that if I remember correctly, looking on the forums, this was a 0.6 ratio, and this is like 0.7 something for ore to plates. Oh, my steel smelting is this. This is my steel at the moment. And it's more than what I am currently needing in terms of steel. I'm just storing it. Because really, up to this point, there's nothing that consumes it. Oh, again with the caps. Again with the caps. I need to really look into why that's set somewhat aggressively. It's just the default. So, if I extrapolate 10, that's... So this is 9 per second, this is 6.25 per second. If I do 2 of them, that's 12 and a half. I am producing... Do you have iron processing too? I might soon. Like, I'm working through the green tech, so if it's a green tech, I will eventually have it. And I'm sure that one's even more efficient and requires more steps in the process. So how many of these do I have? 12. 12, producing 9, so I would need another 4. Pretty sure I can feed. I have to bring another line of iron to feed another 4. Alright, so this is 1 to 10. Make 12 and a half, so if I wanted 2 of these. Let's see. Well, there's the basic electronics. So you're here talking about the iron processing 2. That recipe requires mining machines too. Molten steel out of molten iron. Oh, and then you get into stainless steel. Yeah. Oh, right. I want to go this way anyway because I like the idea of having tiles that make me move at 180% speed. So, yeah. So, space. And then... borax production, because that's going to be... eight and a quarter per second on the borax. And then... not much on the castings, but still non-zero amount of castings. 8 and a quarter. And then I need more for the actual science stuff. So this is for... yeah, that's... I think a doubling will be fine. Yeah, double it. When in doubt, double it. That should pretty much be the motto of Factorio, just in general. When in doubt, double it. Or better yet, no matter what you may be thinking is sufficient, double it anyway. I think that's far more apt. Just double it anyway. Now the question becomes, do I even have enough, borax ores coming in? I probably do. Note that this whole thing that I'm doing now, even though it's something I should be doing anyway, at some point, now being a good time for it, it's out of sheer laziness, because I just don't want to make more of these to add to the tin. All good things born out of laziness in the end. I should probably do this, like, not even remotely close to here. Missing a pipe connection in the washer. Good eyes. Let's see, probably... here? Yes, and here. Yep, that should do it. Right, it didn't put one there because I don't have one there that I need as I continue adding more. And then this is necessary to get it hooked up to the sinkhole. Pretty sure one sinkhole, let's see, it can handle 40 per second, so if all this is running at the same time, hello. Yeah, let's actually get the sufficient number that's needed for this. This is easier for scale. That should do that. Take care of all that. Although I have all these tailings being produced. I know that there's things that you can do with tailings eventually. Well, it takes me, in particular, such a long time to set those things up that, sure, I could put the things into a giant container. Giant storage container for tailings. And then what? It's like, okay, I have something temporary that can use them when I can use them quickly. Oh, hello, hot air. Is there a reason for that? No, I think it's just all being consumed. Like, if it takes time to set up what's eventually going to be your consumption, it's like, eventually your tanks will fill up anyway, and like, Sure, it's nice having the storage stored to be able to use it, but in the end, does it really matter saving a few minutes by having storage of the stuff ahead of time? Even an hour or more of savings of time compared to hundreds in a playthrough? Anyway, I'm going to be doing this someplace that has a lot more space, and I'm going to start doing the orientation more correctly. Probably going to involve moving all this as well down into here. For now, though... Oh, hey, I actually have the stuff. I can make a robot. A robot that I have nothing that I can really use it for. So I'm going to need a lot of those. Speaking of which, how about I actually go and grab some circuits. Also, doink. And doink. One of the best decisions right here. Yeah, it's great for a mall. That's what I'll probably just be using them for, exclusively. That'll be the first thing that I use them for. Alright, why are you telling me things like sand and other stuff? You need to make washers. Washers here. Ah, it's stone bricks. It's telling me the raw resources for the alternative recipe to stone bricks. It's like, well, alright. Stone bricks is one thing that I know I have a lot of. Currently. That's the next caveat. Currently. How many of these am I making? I don't even know. A lot. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's like 22, I think, by my count, quick counting. Several, yes, several. Alright, so this is gonna be, I'm making the decision right down here. And what's the, Alright, so yellow belts are fine. Even at 20. This is like the easy way to not have to do all that rotating. Fortunately enough, these machines are actually a reasonable amount of materials. I mean, sub 100 iron and sub 100 copper, that's like amazing. Especially compared to the 170 copper you need for advanced foundries and the 100 plus for automated factories. I went and I ran and I kept running. Get back here, you. Alright, so by my calculations, this should be 20. Kickalks are expensive? Most likely. Oh yes, these. They're expensive because they're 2 botanical nurseries. And a 5,000 liter tank. Which, yeah. Yeah, I can see that when each of these requires soil extractors as well, and plenty of circuits and small parts. Kickalk would be this tab. 563 units of iron and 399 units of copper in total. Yeah, that's a lot. Anyway. Now get the... And rubber. Yes, and 5 rubber. It says on the thingy, but... You know, it says 5 rubber. I'm pretty sure... No, this is really easy. Alright, so yeah. And the 5 rubber. So you have to do your rubber production before you can even get to those. What do these make? Let's make the 2 that I can apparently make right now. And I'm sure a lot of that count of 500 for the iron comes from small parts for the various other machines in the process. Similarly, for the circuits, it's a little bit misleading, the copper count for this, because I'm pretty sure it's using the recipe to handcraft circuits down the chain and not the actual recipe that I am currently using to make circuits. So this recipe, I would hope, would be less than this amount of copper from this recipe. Like, I would hope that the copper per circuit board would be lower in the end from all of this to automate it. So these things... Oh, it's the fibers. Right. That's also why it says rubber, I think. Because there's just a recipe that uses rubber to make a prerequisite for something, and it's taking that into account when... Hello, I made one before having rubber. So it's just a matter of, like, when you unlock certain techs and all that as well, I'm sure. Because it doesn't actually necessarily need rubber. Let's see. I was going to be placing the casting machines. Just 2. Yes, belts and engines. Alt recipes have the rubber. And are more efficient recipes overall, thanks to using rubber. Oh, this is gonna be a lot of, Let's go and get some of my pipes, because this is gonna be a lot of pipe in the end. First engine one is so slow that I only have one machine dumping into a box to do it. When I actually do the full automation of engines, it'll be that one that uses the belts from rubber. Similarly here, I mean, I don't know, that recipe that uses the belts to make that uses these belts to make belts, it's makes 15 at a time. It's like, well, how do I actually properly scale that to make the other things that need belts? Let's see. So yeah, that's my engines. Then I have my pipes over here. Also, I'm apparently carrying around a little bit of science. Let's not do that, thanks. Oh, that's good to know. One's for inserters. That'll be handy, having mass amounts of inserters. So this will need to be redone a little bit. I'll probably need to split off the rocks sooner from over here. Those jaw crushers. Alright, so this needs fuel in, processed ore in, and borax in. So one of these sides is going to have that. And then that. And I also need the oxygen in as well. I suppose if I wanted to do like underground shenanigans, I could have all the inputs on one side, but ha! What a stack inserter even looks like. Wow. You should see my Angels playthrough where nearly every inserter I end up using from machine to machine is stack inserters. Oh boy. I will probably very much focus on getting stack inserters. Very much. I enjoy using them, especially for direct insertion of stuff. Going down. Now, this is going to be the tedious part, is just piping all this stuff up. Because I have to do this process on 20 items 2 times. Circuit 2s. Oh, that's fine. Right. Yes. Why would I think they wouldn't use circuit 2s? No, I need stuff in my hand to go away so I can do stack inserter. Oh, also 2 recipes. Look at that. Just add lubricant and advanced small parts, and you can get 15 for 5 instead of a 1-to-1. That's convenient, actually. But yeah, the 1s and 2s Oh boy, that's going to be fun. Having to do that belting. Looks like that's the only additional thing that I'm not currently making is just the circuit board twos, which after having looked through this, I think the optical fiber is one of the more annoying ones. Well, at least one of the more like longer chains to make because, well, A, plastic, and I think we all sort of know how plastic can go at times. Um, and then this niobium iron coating. Yeah, because you have to go through the whole niobium stuff chain to get to it, and then Kevlar as well is in here. Um, which the Kevlar, yeah, it requires TPA and PPD and nylon and solvent and yeah, so that's the one that I think is the one thing that I think takes the most steps, although also diodes and the other stuff is the various different types of silicon, various silicon wafer. That being said, capacitor 2 requires capacitor 1 and boric acid, which we're already making, and then aluminium pulp. Ah, a purpose to aluminium pulp. Outside of actually making into plates. I'm doing all of this just to make these two things of iron plates that'll make 15 per second, and this isn't even taking into any consideration the extra I'll need when making steel. Ooh boy. Let's see. So then it's just give me regular inserters. I don't think I'll need reds to feed in. This will be the coal. Or whatever fuel I end up using for this. Same thing here for oxygen. Am I even making enough oxygen to feed all this? That's the next question of the day. I know I'm making enough borax. I know I definitely have enough sand castings. The next question is oxygen. So 20 of these need 150 per second on the oxygen. So that's what I'm going to go and immediately check, because if I need to make more electrolyzers, I should do so now. Which the electrolyzers are here. I happen to be carrying around 3 spare electrolyzers in case I do need more, which I'm pretty sure I might. Especially since it looks like I'm only making 2. Oh, I also have... I think I have the valves now? I do. Give me plenty of valves. I can burn the hydrogen for power. But I need to make sure that I have the overflow valves so that I'm burning excess hydrogen for that. But if I'm not producing enough to be constantly producing power with the hydrogen, or if it's not being used, then what's the purpose? If the power production ceases because there's not enough of the hydrogen to keep it constantly going, what's the point of the power? I can just gas vent it instead and not consume all of those resources. So I can do that, although that only does 40 per second, so let's do this the slightly more intelligent way. Ah, I am producing 25 per second. Didn't I say something about needing, like, a lot more than that? Over 100? Like 125, something like that? Something crazy? So let's go, shall we say, massively sufficient by vastly increasing the amount of electrolyzers I have going. I'm going to need aluminium. So here's some aluminium. Just a little bit of aluminium. Need to grab some, just a little bit of steel and a little bit of circuit boards. Just a few circuit boards, and probably also some copper non-zero and some of those, maybe. Ah, and just a little bit of stone. And just a little bit of iron. That's a bit more sufficient. Let's see, how many? Let's see, that's 13... 14. It's like 23 more. 23, that would be 25. Yeah, I think that's going to be enough oxygen for now. I think I'm going to have enough to feed what I need to feed on the oxygen for now. And let's try to remember what I said about not going to the right, but going to the left. Fortunately, this is just pipes in and out. And I'm realizing I put everything next to each other like this. That's probably not the best of ideas. It's also, you know, facing the wrong direction, so just do this. Now, I wasn't quite paying too much attention to how many units of water this takes for 25. Oh, it takes within the normal parameters. Alright, within sufficient parameters. Just going to need a lot of pipe. Now, the question of the day is, am I feeding this line with water on a dedicated pump? That is a good question to answer. Well, I think the answer is no, because I'm using the same line to feed into these, all of this, actually. So this whole thing is currently being fed by one pump, which, if I add 171.43 to 937.5 to up to 125, and we got problems. Because that sum total is over the magic value of 1200. It is 1233.93, which is just a little bit too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually run another line of water. A fully dedicated line, second line of water. Because I don't like pumps. I really don't like pumps. And just in general, the pipe mechanics as they currently stand. It is far easier for me if I need more than 1200 units of throughput of fluid. It is far superior just to do dedicated lines for the excess. I'm also going to need quite a few... do I want to do that? Probably not. Let's just keep this all on its own. That or barrel. That is the other potential solution. Why am I even... This is a waste. This is not how to do this. This is how to do this. That should be all of those. Now let's not forget, I still have 3 more! Even more. Oh boy. Oof. If only I had red belts. Pretty thirsty. Well, actually, speaking of energy, there is something going on with my combustion turbines. Something ran out briefly, and I don't know what or why. So yeah, energy's likely just going to be the current problem of the time that's stopping me from doing what I want to do. This is going to involve needing things, lots of things. Well, that would be handy. I have connected the tar extractors. That's what I have them. They are operating. They are fully operational. So I can expand my power with the extra tar stuff. Tar-based stuff. So I'm not worried about not being able to expand. Oh, hello. I think I have spotted the problem. Yeah, I think I found the problem. Yeah, so as it turns out, when you start feeding your, when you start feeding this, prioritizing coke, you can end up with problems. Also, I really need to run Ash down and start feeding into this. So, as it turns out, I need more of these. Better start getting coke from oil. Yeah, well, you see, I have a lot of coal coming in for now. And I sort of have this entire coal patch as well nearby, and I have... Let's see, I've got some raw. I've got a 2.2 coal up here, and oil, and coal, and... yeah, I think you've made the incorrect assumption that I don't have things that I can convert. That I had a map without much coal. No, I have a map with everything. So, let's just keep that in mind. My map is excellent, and I am not lacking. But I do need to not put that there. Blessed with a very good map, yes. Blessed. That would be the way to put that. Do you really need to have 4 inserters kicking out what you make? Probably not. And it's not even going to be balanced in the first place, because it's an odd number. Let's see. Doink, 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 doink. I do this way just because it's easy, and I'm way too used to having Bob's inserters. No, that way. This is going to consume a lot of coal. I've just taken 2 machines and I've added 6 to the equation. And these 2 machines... Yeah, this will use like over half of the line of the coal that's coming in. Light it up for me. Well, alright, so the mushrooms, yes, I like the concept of completely fully infinite mushrooms. Oil, while technically infinite, does reduce over time the amount that you get from any one patch. So, I mean, it takes a really long time. Don't get me wrong, there is such a thing as effectively infinite. Just like the size of the map in the game has a limit, but it's so large that it's effectively infinite. But when it comes to the mushrooms, converting them into coal is actually infinite. Now, I do wonder, though, because you can do mushrooms to coal to power. You can do mushrooms to coal to power and have fully infinite power? I don't know if it takes more energy to produce the coal from the mushrooms than what you can expend on the power generation. Yeah, biomass to coal from alien life. Yeah, I am looking forward to alien life, because those infinite loop systems are handy. Because you can see here, hey look, guess what? I am making coal from mushrooms as well. This is to supplement my coal that's coming in from up here. And it's giving me at least a trickle, even if I happen to run out briefly up here. Because I'll know that I always have at least something coming in on the coal. But these two by themselves eat 5 per second on the mushrooms. And yet I have how many? Plenty to produce 5 per second. Now, that should make sure that I at least have enough coke coming in. Because that what? I just, like, tripled the amount of coke that I'm producing off of coal? So there should be at least... Oh, it looks like it's just now starting to catch up, thanks to the belt speed. So now this stuff should be coming in a bit faster and be able to feed these. Because, yeah, that is the limitation. And it's back. Alright, pretty sure it's back. Just noticed it had gone down again. I expect it to go down like that at least one more time. I've noticed this has been happening at least once per hour on average. These little blips that I've been having. Hello, iron processing too. Oh, I think I've got enough creosote currently. Yeah, so my issue is just being able to feed these machines with enough fuel. Granted, I don't need to feed these with coke, it's just coke is more efficient. So speaking of which, let's actually look at the, So this is coal and steam In a basic oxygen furnace. Have I picked up coal processing 2 yet? Makes coke. Yes, I did. Wait. Aha. What tech unlocked Quenching Tower Mark II? Hot residual mixture. That, from oil industry Mark II. Interesting. Coke in to make that, to make coke. And then what do you do with the oven gas? You can make some syngas at some point. Turn it into outlet gas. Also, I've been taken for a ride, apparently, behind this. Oh look, concrete. You need concrete for the quenching tower, not currently making that. Yes, I know concrete is easy. Quote unquote easy. It's, you have one that's the rich clay. Yeah, rich clay and sulfuric acid. The default in the game one is easy. That's locked behind the concrete tech that's apparently still here. This one's the easy one. This one, rich clay, yeah, I'm making rich clay, but then I have to make sulfuric acid out of iron and sulfur, or acid gas and water. I mean, acid gas, again, sulfur and syngas, or... Because, yeah, I can make concrete, I just need to make the sulfuric acid first. The one in the base game unlocks later and is iron ore and stone bricks and water to make 10. And this is rich clay, which you're making for green science, and then sulfuric acid, which you need to make anyway to get batteries, but yeah. And I need sulfur, and sulfur comes from sulfur veins, which I don't think I can access yet. Water and petrol. That's similar to the base game. Ooh. Hello. I like this recipe. Can you guess why I like this recipe? I like this recipe. You know why? I'm sort of making a bunch of aromatics. Like, I'm mining tar to make aromatics, to make my power. Yeah, because tar. Because I have a lot of tar. It's like, oh, I like that recipe to give me lubricant. And it's not like I have a machine running full bore here. Oh, I need more tar machines. Oh, yeah, this is gonna get really busy really fast, isn't it? More recipes for aromatics. Alright, cool. Oh, hey, there's the niobium. I could start doing niobium. So that's a thing I could start doing. Oh, and more biological stuff. That's unlocked. Mark II crystal mines. I don't think I've even picked up the next level of logistics. Oh, and then of course all the barreling recipes just have to exist somewhere, so I guess here this is where they exist. Oh, and then of course actual barrels. Cool. So I need a power. No, I don't need a powerhouse, but let's fine make it. Oh, I happen to have like 9 crystal mines just sitting in my inventory right now. That's good to know. What was I looking for again? Things, stuff and things. I'm gonna assume all these require like circuit board 2s. Yeah. So not even going to bother with those. Well, that seems like it's the next step in a process. I'm just looking and seeing what I can and cannot make at the moment. So that's the thing. So sulfur. Sulfur can be mined, but here's the thing. I do have a really good map. Unfortunately. Unfortunately. Maybe that might be it, I don't know. Small and yellow, small and yellow. I'm sure it's a square that's small and yellow. Because I'm thinking that might be the one thing. Really? I have a 4.8 mil uranium rock. That might come in handy. I have like copper rocks, I have chromium rocks, I've got phosphate rocks. Boy. That being said, I have a tin rock. This might be them. Time to go prospecting, because I could still have the sulfur nearby. I could still have it. It could be behind the fog, because the RSO setting to show you what is spawned around you, basically, it does not show everything. Like, it doesn't show everything that has been spawned. It's only Doesn't even do it for all ore patches, I've noticed at times. Um, it definitely doesn't do it for oil. So I need to go out and find those rocks and other node elements myself. Should get most of the ore patches that have been spawned around me, though. Oh, there was one thing I wanted to look up. What do I need for you? Logistics 2, and then automobilism, and then iron and steel engines. Cool. That'll be next. After iron ore processing 2 finishes. Because I sort of want a car. That would be ideal. That would be very ideal. I am a little bit tired of having to walk through this sand. It's like, this is all of this is all desert sand that slows you down. Like, halves your speed or something like that. So I was going to check up here. Hello, medium oil patches. Ha, turned off some of the sand. Yeah, that would actually be a decent idea. Hello. I apparently have an iron rock. A 20 mil iron rock. So let's see if these are what they see. Oh, hello. That's rare earth. That's rare earth ores. So it's a bunch of these guys. It's a pretty good patch, though. That's a pretty good patch, though. It's not what I was looking for, but that's convenient. I think that's the, yeah, that's the only one of those that I have outside of the starting zone, in which the ones down in here are 64 and 106. And these are all well over 100, so those are nice. Defined, but they aren't the sulfur. I'm looking for just a yellow square. I'm gonna clean up some of this map. Actually, what I should do, now that I'm thinking about it, instead of... Ooh. Hello. I guess I'm not going to run out of iron anytime soon. Or quartz, or chromium, or tin, or molybdenum, or oil sand, or rare earth, or salt, or niobium, or copper, or anything else, for that matter. What I need to do is I need to go to my outposts and put down radars. So that's what I'm going to slowly but surely walk towards. You'll notice over the course of this how we started off by me just talking about, oh, I'm going to work on my resource deficiencies, and then, oh, what I want to do is I want to transition my iron into the more efficient molten iron process. And I've started to set that up. I've now added electrolyzers to get the oxygen that I need to feed into that. I've started hooking up the water to it, and then I went into trying to get more power generation, figuring out an issue with the power generation, and now I'm just walking to my outposts to put radars. And I still haven't gotten back to actually connecting up all of that oxygen and hydrogen from the water electrolysis that I will soon enough be doing to produce the molten iron, to produce the iron plates. More iron plates, actually, than I was producing before. Welcome back to the main bus. This line marks my sidewalk for the main bus. I've actually, in the future, in any future playthroughs, on my own personal time, I've actually decided to make my sidewalk, my, like, don't put buildings here zone, a 10 tile wide sidewalk. And the reason for 10 is that is the tile distance of having, and this applies more to Angels and Bobs in particular, where where it's easy enough to have a 6 wide in the early game for your bus, to have 6 wide and then 2. So 6, 2, and 2 for the sidewalk, so that I can do things like this and feeding in directly into other things more easily. As, like, having those 6 full lanes as temporary, just as a spot for temporary belts. Up to 6 at a time. Or even up to 10, but really. It might come in... Oh yeah, hey. More coal. I'm actually going up here because I think I had placed... Yeah, I had placed mining drills that are just hanging out, doing nothing, that can find a nice home in my inventory. I definitely don't need this line. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna put a radar here. You haven't tried space exploration yet. Is it Bob's Angels, or can you run it without it? Space exploration is designed for AAI, and it is, as far as I'm aware, incompatible with Bob's Angels. Specifically because of the resource generation. I know it's not compatible with Resource Spawner Overhaul, unless it's been patched. The last I've seen, it wasn't compatible with that because of how it handles the generation of maps. It might be now, though. But as designed, it's designed... Well, let's just say I think it would be easier and more... It would be easier to make compatible with Pyanodons than it would Angels. Bob's could be okay too, but Angels probably runs into some issues because of the infinite ores. Yeah. So if you don't run infinite ores, it might be easier. So, yeah, I have to take care of this. That's not good. Honestly, I haven't tried the, space exploration yet. But I have looked into it, at the very least, and sort of have an idea. Ah, thank you for the follow. Thank you for the 2 follows I've gotten today. I'm just now really paying attention, looking over. I saw the motion on my recent events. It's like, oh yeah, that's a thing that can happen. Yeah. Alright. That's good to know. Thank you. Now this is way too many for a single yellow, but some of this will just stop working after a bit. I can put down my next radar. Then I'll head over to the borax and take care of that. Because you never know, maybe I'll have, my god, that's a lot of regolite rocks. Actually, it's more like regolite. Yeah, but it's looking like sulfur's gonna be that one thing that RSO was like, nope, you're not gonna have any of this nearby. At least on this seed, anyway. Continuing right along. Wow, it's already 19 past noon here. I'm still working on my last cup of coffee for the day. And by last, I mean third. So I was gonna put down probably 2 radars over here, or 4. Just a massive radar outpost so that it really starts cleaning up some of this. I think I'm mining enough borax for now. I have 8 machines, which, mining time 300%, so it's not 48 per second. It's not 48, it's divide that by 3, it's 16 per second, which is a yellow belt. That's assuming I have enough syngas to feed all those. Okay, now I'll head back and actually start working on doing what I wanted to do, which is get that molten iron processing going. Casting iron. Then over time, I'll see if I have that that sulfur that I need. So, at the moment, I need sulfur to make concrete. Concrete plus... concrete is made from sulfur and the rich clay. That's the recipe that I have currently available. There is the later vanilla recipe, which is the just the iron ore with the water and the stone bricks. But I don't have that right now. Is that a green? Or do I... You can't Yes, that is a green. So I could just wait for this. It's right after steel furnaces. So this would be the recipe to do the concrete. But I need the concrete to make a machine to process hot coke into coke, which is a more efficient coke production process. But either way, I'm going to need sulfur, so I would like to be able to mine the sulfur if I have it nearby. Although there are alternative methods of getting sulfur. This one's gonna have to be different. Ooh, you have power. Right. So how do I... Let's see. So the oxygen is closer, and the hydrogen is further. So right now I'm just hooking up all of these additional electrolysis machines, electrolyzers, so that I can get the oxygen in particular to fuel the production of my molten iron. And the way I do this is similar to most everything else. This type of braiding of the belts is just a habit I've gotten into. Got into this habit really early, actually. Now, eventually, robots will do this for me, but I've never really minded this amount of... Well, honestly, it's tedium, but I haven't minded thus far doing all of that by hand. Let's see, where do I want to run power? Probably... That's too far away. So let's see what happens to my power once I hook up an additional 20 some odd electrolyzers. I have 25 total, so it's plus 23 on the electrolyzers. Yeah, I'll need to work on that. That sort of doubled, near enough doubled my consumption of power by adding those. No water. Right, that would be why. So, definitely it doubled. And I should absolutely have enough hydrogen to burn it. I know I am venting the oxygen at the moment. And it's, I'm sure, running at 100%. It's venting 40 per second, thereabouts. I don't even know if that's even accurate, but I'm producing 312 and a half. Ultimately, just the one's not going to matter, but yes. Well, correction, I need to keep it there until... or put it behind a thingy. That's what I really need to do, is I need to put it behind an overflow valve. Do it right. So I will not be consuming even... I won't be consuming this much, but I need to burn off enough so that the stuff keeps moving, so I... once... so that the, further processes keep moving. So I can keep making boric acid when I need it. Or whatever. No, this is hydrogen, but yeah. I need to make sure that the hydrogen keeps flowing. Just like I need to make sure the oxygen keeps flowing, so I have both behind overflow valves. Next. Power from excess hydrogen would be ideal. Because now with that much hydrogen, having the powerhouse would make some sense. Now the question is, where exactly do I want to do it? It doesn't necessarily matter too much. What matters is the temperature. 520 C, and the consumption is... oh. Here I am making 600 plus units per second. And one of these powerhouses, yeah, that's... I can burn plenty of this. Make some of those. Make some of those. I should have some of these kicking around. Average, yeah, but I'd rather know that I'm consuming at specific temperatures. Like, see, I have this here. This is a 670 from the aromatics. I've got 3 things burning off the aromatics alone. But my coke runs along the entire main bus, so I don't necessarily have to worry as much about being close to coke because I have it running on the entire length of the bus. I'll just do this up at the top. How far am I running the hydrogen? I'm running the hydrogen, like, the full length as well. So as long as I'm not producing 1200 per second of hydrogen, which I'm producing a little more than half of that. Let's see. Oh, pipes, of course, always. It's always pipes, isn't it? I'm just looking to see if there's like a spot I can sneak it in. Here. Looks like I need even more aromatics, by the way. Let's see. Powerhouse, powerhouse. Not that positioning. I'm okay having this in this area just because I won't need to be repeating this down. I can make these wherever I want. Let's see. Then cooling towers. That's what will be the bigger pain. Let's see. What's the footprint on this? That. No. Actually. That. Whoops, did not mean to cut those. Or undo those. That spacing such that that would be more ideal. Oh hey, look, water exists up here as well. So, looks like I've got the water too. Now, I will need specifically Coke in. That's 3 per second on the Coke. These end up as closed systems on the water. Generally speaking. So once it's filled, I shouldn't need to worry about it anymore. So I'll just hook it up, let it fill up, then it shouldn't need any more. Alright, Coke in. Yeah, that's not good. Alright, I have to do this a little lower. That should be the Coke in. Get the Power all hooked up. Ready to go. Then just add combustion towers. Turbines. And the hydrogen. Oop. Get this hydrogen in. And that, as they say, should be that. Looks like I should toss in a little bit more on the water, so I'll go ahead and do that. Are you connected? No. Different fluids. Wow, the, fill up. That just briefly added more water into the system. So it looks like I need more turbines, but it's more like that I just happen to have a lot less production than... Or I have an over capacity. I have more production capacity than I'm currently using by a lot. So that should be fine. That should work out. Now that that's taken care of, now I need a lot of these. Like, I mean, a lot of these. And I need a lot of them because now I need to go through and make sure that I have enough to burn off all of the excess gases being produced in the electrolysis process. Because I want to make sure that they're all moving. All of the machines are moving, operating. Offwards and upwards. Are you... Hello. These are empty. That's another issue to take care of. Because, yeah, not all of these machines are able to operate because I'm not, voiding enough of the oxygen at the moment. But I have a way of rectifying that. I will be able to fix that quite simply. Just give me more, let's focus on pipes. Lots and lots of pipes. This is near enough a straight shot down to where I need it. Also, I will note that I have yet to actually make a proper lead mining or refining spot. I just have regular stone furnaces for the little amount of lead, just because I've needed it for some machines, but not even remotely close to all of the machines. Oh noes! More undergrounds are required. Need a lot of them when you're hooking up 20 machines. Good. And then I need a lot more you. Slowly but surely, getting everything set up and ready for all of the inputs to come in. Grab more regular inserters. Oop, need another one of you. Now that's looking fine. I need a fuel in. Ah, right. I also need to do this. It's a very important step. You also need borax, and you need the sand castings. And then you need the plates out. Now the plates out. This is... Holy God. Okay. Alright. Let's do this. You know, let's do this the interesting way. Probably not going to be able to actually power this, but that might work. That might do it. Alright, so I would need to have spots like so. then merged and balanced. Because this is going to do a full yellow belt's output. One full yellow belt's output. So doing it like this, just as long as there's enough inserters to crap out 60 iron plates every 8 seconds. It should be fine. Crafting speed is 0.5 on these. Okay, so that's going to be plates out. I need my borax. Borax, castings, and fuel, and processed iron. So I'll probably have to pick up more belts. Castings. Belts are being made, like, right over here, so this is a very small detour. As I said, very small detour. Alright, so the castings go into the casting machines. And I need very, very few of these. Actually, I'm gonna put these on the inside just because I know I need borax on each side. Just trying to limit the amount of stuff to be concerned about undergrounds. And these need just the 3 borax. So that's borax. And then this will be the processed iron. Now, speaking of the borax, let's bring that in. What is wrong? Why is there nothing on the hot air? I think I shift seed a few too many times. Yeah, see, that's the one of the issues you can end up having is overfill. That's working just fine now, I think. Okay, borax. Borax down. No wonder why it's taken such a long time to get this next tech. It's like, oh, I'm not actually making my glass because my hot air's been broken. Gosh, I'm gonna have to redo so many belts. This is iron plates. This is actually pretty close to where it needs to be. Granted, I won't need any of these undergrounds anymore once I reroute. So, I need... that to happen, and I need to copy to there. Oh, this is not going to be particularly elegant, but it's gonna have to be how it is. And the stream choked yet again! Yet again, it disconnected. Oh boy. There. There it goes. Nope. Nope. It's still reconnecting. 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 We're towards the end of the stream. It's like 4 more minutes in the stream, and there it goes. Alright. Okay. It should be alive again. Yes, the stream has returned in like the last 4 minutes of the stream. So, yay. Yay, last 4 minutes and it's finally back. I just need fuel. Quickly now, get the fuel. Get the fuel in so I can start making non-zero iron. For simplicity's sake, I guess I will run this. This is a mixed belt of coke and coal. And since it ultimately doesn't matter what type of fuel is used to feed these furnaces, I'll just use this. Let there be power. Come on, hurry up. Wish I could move faster. Really wish I could move faster. I'll be able to move faster soon enough once I get my car. Over here, over here. That's a problem. That's no longer a problem. That's hooked up. Hello, tech. Right in the nick of time. Give me... Logistics 2. Okay. It should be alive. All of the things should be alive and moving and consuming. I need 4 more jaw crushers to make it at the ratio that I want. But it lives. It lives. And it's able to get out the full 60 plates within a cycle. Oh, joy, oh bliss. We did it! We did one whole thing today of particular note. Oh boy, okay. So just a review of what's happened today. As I prepare to end the stream. Today was a mix of things. I had decided to work on my resource deficiencies, and part of that became the notion of freeing up advanced foundries to do things like expand out the tin, because I need lots of tin, and things like the glass that I'll also be needing. Of course, I just need more quartz in at this point for that. So I was going to go into the production for casting iron from molten iron, which involves 20 basic oxygen furnaces, needs borax in, needs sand castings. I got sand castings being produced down here. I started off the day actually by hooking up this tar down here going up, so I now no longer have any tar issues to speak of. And I expanded my creosote a bit, but I now also need to expand my production of aromatics. Had some power problems that are now solved by the massive amount of electrolysis that I'm now doing into hydrogen, which I am burning some excess, venting some excess of the hydrogen and the oxygen, but I am also now producing energy off of excess hydrogen from that production. So I've added all of that, and did a tiny bit of exploring to look for sulfur. Hey! It's sulfur! I've found it! It's here! So, we also were talking about how this map is amazing, and how I seem to have everything that I need in excess. Well, it turns out sulfur was not among those until I started putting radars at my outposts and seeing, hey, I have sulfur too, among everything else. So, with that, I would like to thank you all for watching. This has been Otaku Showboat, and sorry for the issues with the connections, but yes, Pyanodon, I have sulfur. I also have sulfur among everything, so it appears that this seed with RSO has just been amazing for me. I have a long task ahead of me of demolishing a whole bunch of stuff, all of this, and redoing more belts going forward, but slowly but surely I will of course, be making far more sufficient amounts of everything. I will be back tomorrow with more Angels playthrough, and I will be back with more Pyanodons on Tuesday. Again, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all then.